Never before has there been a car so big, so in your face, with so much brute, you'd think this is Toyota country. Hi, my name is Dado Gamada, and for the petrol heads out there, this is Full Throttle.
They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it, this is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I got.
This mammoth of a car is the Land Cruiser 100 series family. You'd find that it's mostly referred to as in Kenya as the VX, but in fact there are two models to this car. That's the LX version, which is the 4.7 litre petrol, as well as the VX version, which is the more common version in Kenya, is the 4.2 litre turbo diesel. Part of the main reason why I personally prefer the Land Cruiser 100 series as opposing to its elder brother, the 200 series, for instance, that is if the car is not big enough for you, is that the cars in its category are, for instance, the Range Rovers, the Q7s, the Pajeros, you name it. You'd find that most of these four-wheel drive cars are those four-wheel by badge, whereby you cannot really take the cars off-road. And even if you were to take it off-road, you'd find that someone would be like, oh my god, oh my car, oh there's a hole, there's a pothole, or the rock is too big, or I'm gonna scratch my car, I'm gonna scratch the underneath of my car. When it comes to the 100 series, literally you cannot break this car. You can take it anywhere, you can drive off-road comfortably, carry 7 passengers, and you'll not be worried about the ground clearance, or neither will you be worried about, as you can put it, will I get stuck? You'd find that the car itself is a full-time 4-wheel drive, with of course the low gear, which is an option, and then it has of course the center diff lock. And you'd find that people are more comfortable driving this car off-road as opposing to the fancier 4-wheel drive versions, let's say the Q7 or the Range Rover Sport per se. When it comes to another preference for this, that is why you'd find that it's also the preference in Kenya by the politicians, the business community, and practically in areas where the roads are inaccessible. You'd find that the Land Cruiser performs or outperforms many of its members in its class. And that is why I personally would prefer driving this car, going off-road with the friends, or as you call it, as we Kenyans would prefer to call it, going to the bundus. I would put my bet on the Land Cruiser than any other car in its category. And you'd find that the people who tend to use these cars are the people who want both the luxury and the off-road. You'd find that with the cars in this category, you get the luxury. Fine, it's not the most luxurious car you're going to find in its category, but compared to the other cars in its category, they are more luxurious than they are 4-wheel drive. And the essence of getting a 4-wheel drive, especially if you want to go off-road and live in the bundus and actually go on any trip you can, is the 4-wheel drive essence. You find that most of these cars with the 4-wheel capability will not be able to leave the road even for 10-15 meters without getting stuck. Now this car combines both the comfort, as you'd find the Cygnus version of this car would come in with leather interior, fridge in the vehicle, and leather seats, proper trimming, mahogany interior. You'd find that it's both comfortable and you can go off-road. And for instance, when it comes to the setting of the suspension, you'd find there's comfort and then there's the sport. But now the advantage of this car as compared to the rest is that when it comes to off-road, you get the Land Cruiser. And you get the Land Cruiser chassis, the performance, everything. And when you come onto the road, and if you're looking for the comfort in a car, then the Cygnus version of this same car, now it's like getting best of both worlds. You'll not get a car that is all nice and all comfortable, but it does not perform off-road. And the essence of wanting a 4-wheel drive is the off-road segment of it all. Anyways, now we're going to get into the part where we're going to find out what exactly makes this beautiful beast drive so smoothly and make it such a wonderful and easy ride. Wow! Wouldn't you agree with me? The acceleration actually surprised me the most. On this particular version, this is the 4.7 litre V8 version. Thinking V8 4700cc, wow. How many VITs does that actually put in? Let's say about 4 VITs. Anyone, and I mean anyone, can drive this particular vehicle. Even on the highway, it drives pretty much like a small car. The only advantage you have over the rest is that When things get tough and you get off-road, now that is where this beast comes in handy.
So, because of all the uproar from Kenyan drivers who say that Proboxes are a menace to society and a danger to pedestrians, we have decided today in our daily challenge to find out why. Why is it that one who gets behind the wheel of a Probox completely disregards the rule of law, courtesy, and basically all common sense? So, to help us test this theory today, we have employed the help of our capable automotive technicians. Now the first test is to determine the actual carrying capacity of this car. How many people can this car carry before it literally bursts out of its seams? Let's find out. So the actual number of people that this car can carry is everyone. They say that these cars are driven a lot faster than is safe for a box-shaped car. So our technician is going to help us determine whether or not this car is aerodynamic. It's quite.
So, defenders of the Probox say that the African version of this car, like the one we have here, has a special parking feature. Let's test that. Okay, and we're reversing, and we're reversing. So after consulting with the consultants, we discovered that the Probox scored remarkably well. It got an 8 out of 10 for aerodynamics, 10 out of 10 for carrying capacity, and an unprecedented 11 out of 10 for safety, given its amazing standard African Park Assist feature. The only vehicle that could possibly get a better test score than this Probox is the 1993 Tuk Tuk.
They say that all your old girls got.
It's not easy to appreciate the collective work, effort, dedication and passion that it takes to develop a car culture like the one we have in Nairobi right now.
It takes a certain love for cars, a certain love for motoring that you start off with when you're very young. It starts with a miniature Lamborghini that your dad buys you, that you roll around the floor before you can even walk on your own 2 feet.
And then it develops into a love for whatever your father figure happens to own, and then it develops into love for fast cars.
Whatever car is the fastest, you watch Bugattis on shows and on TV shows, and that becomes the standard, your SI unit for gauging cars. That's the best car you possibly know of, and then it develops into, you grow up and then it develops into something different. It becomes whatever is within your means.
So for the average driver like myself, you get a car loan and you go for a daily driver like this one. You are not concerned about all the turbo and the loud exhaust and none of that jazz. You just want something that does what it does efficiently, and it does it with decorum. So today I went out in search of people who are the pioneers of this car culture. It's actually the Impreza culture, because I noticed there's a lot of people, most people who have fast cars in Nairobi drive a Subaru for whatever reason. They believe in the power of the coilover. Their secondary concern is to get from point A to point B. Their primary concern, however, is to get there as quickly as possible. So to join this elite club, I had to go out and get myself a Subaru, which is what I have done. And hopefully they will take me as one of their own and teach me and take me through the paces of what it takes to get a car from a regular daily driver into a race car.
Behind you think it got to me. I can just read your mind. You think I'm so caught up in where I am.
Back in the early 2000s, when the Kenyan car culture was still developing, in its infancy so to speak, old people with old money and an established array of sponsors would get together and organize concours d'elegance. They'd drive from the suburbs, all the while observing the speed limit, and marvel at their excellence under picnic hats and drink endless cups of tea. Back then, the younger enthusiasts had no appreciation of such. It seemed restrictive and old-fashioned. Back then, what our audience had was the EA Motor Show. You'd take time off the weekend and go look at modded cars with overdone kits on fat wheels that did 0 to 60 in a lot of time. Not to worry though, that challenge would never come up. You'd never even hear most of these cars start. Their sole purpose in life was to be appealing to the eye. That was then, however. Now, the once young eyes are older, with salaries and technology on their side, and single-handedly, they have developed a vibrant wave of car culture in Kenya. A culture where your car has to be as fast as it looks good. A culture where the said car has to be able to come out over a race meeting and drive you around normally from Monday to Friday.
So yeah, basically that's what car culture is. So in Kenya we're only starting to develop our car culture. So today I am going to visit someone. I'm going to visit a garage where they're like the pioneers of our developing car culture. And basically because we borrow a little bit of the European car culture, we borrow a little bit of the American, and we borrow a little bit of the Japanese. But mostly we're inclined towards the Japanese car culture. It's similar because most of the cars we import to Kenya come from there. So the Kenyan car culture basically is developed from what it used to be, and we've developed a new taste, and we have people who are bringing in tuners, the Subaru, the WRXs and the Evos that you see out on the streets. And so we're gonna go to their garage and see and talk to them and see how this developed, where they started off, how far they've come, and what it takes to build a car like they have done.
My first car was a Subaru Legacy GT twin turbo, and I converted it to a single turbo Legacy. Actually, if the shot was able, I'm sure you'd get it, it's right there. And I finished building it, now it's up on sale. So I decided to buy the Subaru Impreza. It's called the GF8. It's very fast, it's a very rare car in Kenya. There are only 3 around right now, or rather the 3 we've only seen, and 2 of them are, well, yeah. These are the 2. The 2 are right here. The other one is another yellow one. So yeah, that's a car I bought, and this is our garage where we make such cars, and any other car. It doesn't have to be a fast car.
So, unfortunately it's hanging. I don't know. Oh, okay, so there we go. Mapping usually nets you, like for a plain car. You just bought your car today and you want it to go a bit faster. Mapping gives you that extra horsepower. It's the most, I don't know how to put it, but it's the best upgrade you can do to your car.
So it's like
it nets you the most power, yeah. It nets you the most power, because what you're doing is, when you bring your car to Kenya, our fuel is very bad, it's poor. So as soon as your car senses the bad fuel, it cuts down on power to save the engine. So what you're basically doing is you're telling the car, the engine, the computer, the car's computer, that today you're running on this type of fuel. So you're allowed to do this much. Yeah, you can do this much. Instead of it because when it recognizes that it's bad fuel, it cuts all the power. get. So instead of it cutting all the power, you just tone it down a bit and let it ride from there. So we need to map this car because it has a small issue with its MAF sensor. MAF is basically what reads the amount of air that's going into the engine. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get rid or bypass the MAF and give him something that we call a speed density map, which is basically a MAFless tune. It doesn't require the sensor that's messed. They used to tune in a different way. There's a way they used to do cab tuning back in the day. Yeah. It's almost the same thing, but now this is a bit more advanced. The other one is more mechanical. You'd rotate, what are they called? Distributors. You'd rotate the distributors. I mean, it was complicated. I don't even know how they used to do it. But they used to do it like, there's a guy who specializes in doing classic tuning for East Africa Safari cars. The guys, old school way and manual.
Told me the story of how your car came to be, where you started from, how you got to where you are now. But I see you have a whole team of people. How did you guys end up getting together and starting your race team?
Okay, it all started in 2011 when I met a buddy of mine called Washira, and we started doing business together, selling parts, selling cars, selling mostly sports cars. Subarus, mostly actually just dealt with Subarus. Yeah. Then after that, we saw we have the same passion in racing, not necessarily rally, but street racing, which we not call racing because we like looking for, the government giving us the permissions that we do events like Kiamburing TT and Muranga TT. And there's a whole group on Facebook of guys called Legends who are interested, who are enthusiasts. So that's how we started. But then me and my buddy decided to start up a garage. The garage is called JDM Kenya. JDM means Japan Domestic Market. These are the cars that come from Japan mostly. So we don't only deal in that, but that's how we started. So we honor that culture of JDM by calling our garage JDM Kenya. Yeah. So after that, we started the garage. We work on any car. We do body works and all that, mapping, tweaking, tuning, modifying of cars and all that. So that way we decided, we've been up for like 2 months. So we decided we're going to have our own racing team called JDM Racing, inclusive of the 2 cars you're going to see in the show, and a couple of others, around 3 more cars.
So 5.
So say close to a total of 5 cars.
Yeah. Much respect to you guys. You know how there's a stereotype, and I was expecting when you go to a bikers race, you expect to see guys with tattoos and all kinds of stereotypes. So I was not the first thing I noticed, all you guys have glasses. All wear glasses. So it's like I was like,
well, let's
who invited me? Who misdirected me to the Geek Fest? I was trying to see cars.
Yeah, normally guys expect you to see on Fast and Furious, those cool guys with women all over. We don't mind the women. Ladies, you're welcome, but
how many new phone numbers a day do you get in this car?
I try not to. I keep my tint up so no one can see who I am.
Okay.
I have a family.
All right.
Yeah, so we try to have fun. It's not necessarily about all the cool stuff, the drinking, the partying. If you're an enthusiast, you do it for the enthusiasm. So some of us are actually geeks.
Drinking is not involved.
Yeah, some of us are actually geeks. And guys, like the tuning guys, some of us spend, nights reading on the internet about these cars and everything.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about, all the coolness. This is real enthusiasm. This is not a joke. It's not something we take lightly, But that's why we say we normally take our fun seriously.
Okay.
Wow, the track is, needless to say, we've lost a few cars there. Yeah, we've lost, for the past, every time guys for training, lost a couple of cars. A bit of mishaps, guys losing it on the track, guys either crashing their cars, totaling them completely. And let's just say the reason us we're doing the slalom is because for the 18 kilometer track, you need to have a roll cage. And some of these cars that we are tuning and making, for some of us, is our daily driver cars that we drive every day. So putting a roll cage will really damage the car. Although there are cheap options of putting roll cages, which we still haven't explored or rather gone into. But in the near future, we'll be able to have bolt-on roll cages. You can just put them for the event, you know, get rid of them after the event, or even just keep them permanently. They even, you know, daily driver friendly. Yeah. So for that day, JDM will really represent against the other teams that are coming, from all the other garages. Yeah.
One last question. Can a garage function without a Luo technician?
You just put me on the spotlight in front of the rest of the country.
There is one of these Jarangi or these Jamas.
There's always one of these on Otieno and Omolo somewhere. Yeah. And needless to say, actually, most of our employees here are actually Luos. And
I told you.
yeah, it's true. And even the guys who sell tires from Akambas. So let's say, yes, and the owners of the garage are Kikuyus. Yeah, so it's more of we're using the entire country to, you know, function together. But it's true. I've actually witnessed it. There are actually some tribes that are very good in some things. Our mechanics, our body guys, most of them are Luos, and a few others from But in all garages, there's always a Luo somewhere. Yeah, there's always a Luo. They're really good in what they do.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
We'll see you at Kiamburu.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm that special kind of girl. I love to be impressed. I like to wine, I like to dine, and enjoy the finer things in life. And it doesn't get much finer than the Mercedes E350. The luxury features alone that are normally considered extras in other cars would actually buy you a new 2014 Premium. This car is just amazing to drive. The cabin is so quiet, you could actually whisper to someone at the back seat. This ride is so soft. It's like the chairs are an extension of your body. It's like you're in your own little 747. Not coach, first class. The E-Class sets its own bar when it comes to luxury in the automotive industry. And it's like they made this car to prove a point. The point that they can hands down produce the best car in the world. And frankly, they may have just proved a point. As CEOs and dignitaries spend quite some time in these machines, they have been given a touch of quality that you would only find in your office or say even your house. These seats are hand-sewn into perfection, and better still, they give you a nice reassuring hug when the car is in motion. Who doesn't want that? Coffee tastes better in 7 million shillings worth of class. Now, what does that mean? This means that this car is designed to perform like a race car, but feel like an SUV. And it does. It doesn't just drive, it glides to your destination.
My right is a Toyota Hilux, single cab. On my left, W Group Mark 4. Come take a look.
Better
Spending my day with the legends aroused my curiosity and sense of adventure. I decided, having conducted all this research, that there was no reason why I couldn't modify the Subaru to a point where it could participate in the time trial. The first and probably most important task would be to find someone to do the job who doesn't consider me competition, and I think I may have just found the guy.
Good to see you too. Sorry I'm a bit late. No, I wanted to find out. I just got this now.
I'd spoken to Joel earlier and briefed him on the car, and immediately I got there we got into the details of what it would entail to get the car track ready. It proved to be a lot more work than I had bargained for. So I was hoping to take this car for Muranga TT, which is in about 3 weeks from now, and I was hoping we could convert it into a race car. So I wanted to know, that's what I needed your input for. Aside from doing the actual work, I wanted to know how long, if it can be ready within that time.
Well, financially, I want to estimate about 250,000.
Okay.
But 3 weeks is too short. You know, you need about a month and a half. That's 6 weeks.
Okay. So basically, I need to find another car for the race.
We're gonna strip it completely.
Okay. Break that down for me, like what would cost what amount of money?
Okay, the turbo, two-stage turbo will cost you about 60 to 80,000. With an intercooler, you need a new exhaust, you need a blow-off valve because you're gonna use it for racing. You need to minimize on the lag.
And why should I get a BOV instead of an anti-lag if it's for a race?
Anti-lag will destroy your engine at the end of the day, since you're not going to use it for racing every day. Yeah, a BOV would be good enough. Yeah. Then you need to do your brakes, you need to do your suspension, coil-over suspension, so that you can control the power. Yeah.
All right. And what else did I want to? Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd mentioned, but it's an automatic gearbox. So is there a challenge in, can I keep using that for racing, or will I need to?
Well, if we're gonna use the same engine, you can still use that for racing. Yeah.
All right. So work on the price for me a bit. I mean, I'm sure you can make it. You can reduce it for me.
Well, 230. It's good. 230. Yeah.
I was thinking more of 100 and something, maybe 180, 70. Let me meet you halfway. I'll give you 200,000, and then I'll give you 6 weeks, and I'll come back at the car. How does that sound?
Oh, okay. We'll see what we can do with 200. If we need anything more, you should be ready to add something on top.
Okay.
We need you to win that race.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's get started on the basics first, and then we'll work it out.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you soon.
Thanks.
Take care.
All right. So, let's make a race.
Get a little closer.
What Have you seen how this
So what have I learned about the Kenyan car culture today? Well, it's still growing, but it has a lot of potential. We no longer turn around when we see an S500. We don't turn around when you see a Range Rover, because there'll be another one before you're done walking around the block. But unfortunately, after talking to the experts today, I have learned that my car will not be ready for the Muranga TT, but I am going to definitely make the next race meeting a month from then. So for Full Throttle today, I have been your host, Arnold Odipo. I will hope to see you next week. Goodbye.